Hey guys, welcome back. It has been um almost a year since my last video, and I figured that jumping right back into it, perfect plan would be the Spitfire. This is the F variant, the Mark IX with the Merlin engine, and really, I've had such a joy with this plane since getting back into War Thunder. I managed to get myself a laptop again somehow. Um, Honestly, the aggressive playstyle has really been entertaining um, since coming back into the game for me because I let all my skills lapse um, for pretty much the whole game. So 4.3 is a nice middle of the ground BR to get back into things, and honestly, I think the Spitfire complements that just with its playstyle. So what I've been doing is right from the start, I will climb up about to 4,500 to 5,000 meters, and I'm doing about 280 to 300 kilometers an hour for my climb, and that will get you there pretty quickly. This is similar to the climb rate of the Yaks, and I think it is slower than the Zeros when it comes to climb rate, but we'll get to speed in a little bit. Anyways, strategy has been get up to that 4,500 to 5,000 meters and essentially play it like a more aggressive P-51 or P-47, where I'm doing a lot of top-down hunting for people and kind of doing some boom and zoom, although the zoom is a little bit lacking with the Spitfire, as I'm sure most of you know. So anyways, you go in, scope it out from the top, and the actual top speed of the Spitfire itself is not too bad. I think it's around 700 kilometers an hour. I'll put the spec sheet of the Spitfire up on screen somewhere here shortly. So you can use that to surprise most enemies, and you can do that with a lower power percentage for your engine as well. So that's the boom, and of course the zoom, the climb rate's pretty good. However, the Merlin does not like to go very fast in level flight on its own. So that is one thing to keep in mind if you end up getting into a turn fight with something like a Yak. I have showcased it somewhere in this video. You can do it, and you can reverse the Yak and get him taken care of. However, if you are coming up against any Zeros or Japanese planes, you might want to be careful because most of those airframes are going to rival the Spitfire in its turning rate. So at that point, you would want to more or less run away from from any Japanese fighters that you see. However, any of the American planes, not necessarily the 109s, kind of depends on the skill of the 109 flyer. However, Spitfire does outturn them, and in most cases it does outclimb them, at least from the start. Alright, let's talk about armament. With this Spitfire, you have four, I think it's 7.7. You'll have to forgive me, I'm still getting back into all the jargon and everything of War Thunder. Anyways, four 7.7 machine guns that are mounted pretty far out on the wings, so that does make the spread a little weird. I have been using vertical targeting with the Spitfire the whole time that I've been flying it, now and in the past. But your main armament is going to be the two Hispanos that are mounted on the inside of the machine guns. They're still kind of wide, but really not too bad. And honestly, against most fighters, you're not going to have too much of a problem getting through the armor and taking the plane down. However, you are going to be flying up against a lot of B-25s, and I'm not sure if it's a me thing or if they have just armored up the B-25s, but there have been a couple different occasions where I've sat there and emptied almost all of my Hispanos on them and just haven't taken the B-25 down. So with the Spitfire, you are mostly going to be going after fighters, and honestly it can do some bomber escorting as well. I don't think it would be horrible in that role. Not that Air Realistic Battles really plays that way, but if you so feel like it, something you could do. That would probably translate over pretty well to simulation as well. And now this is the F variant, and the LF variant is 5.7. I do not remember if it has the clipped wings. However, almost the same motor, except it is tuned for the lower altitudes. But honestly, with the standard F, I like the higher altitude capabilities, and I feel like it gives it a really good advantage at 4.3. So that's my thoughts on the Spitfire. I know that I've done it before, but with this new video style that I'm laying out, it's going to be mostly a plane of the week if I have the time to make a video. But I'm really glad to be back. So I know it's a shorter one. I'm going to stick with a pretty short form video, but thanks for sticking around, guys, and hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.